Facing the country's flag, these protesters performed Eid el-Adha prayers on the streets of Khartoum, where marches against army rule have been held for months. An imam borrowed the microphone usually used to chant protest slogans to deliver his sermon. People in Sudan marked Eid amid worsening economic hardship, with high inflation and currency shortages continuing to upset the country's already fragile economy. After the prayers, chants against the army rang out again. Junta leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan last week offered to put in place a civilian government nearly a year after overthrowing the Sovereign Council. But the protest movement has rejected the army's offer, calling instead for Burhan to resign. In Kenya, hundreds of Muslims marked the first day of Eid el-Adha with prayers at the Masjid Rahma Mosque in Nairobi on Saturday. The 4-day celebration, which involves the ritual slaughtering of animals, is also known as the Feast of Sacrifice.
The importance of this day, other than the Eid, is we sacrifice, and the blood that is poured is a form of sacrifice that reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, and not the flesh, and not other than that from the meat. Once you spill the blood, you get the blessings from Allah Almighty.
Eid el-Adha was celebrated around the world on Saturday. People in Congo voted on Sunday in the first round of the Central African country's legislative and local elections. President Denis Sassou Nguesso's ruling Congolese Labour Party is looking to maintain control of both houses of parliament. At polling stations visited by journalists, voting began an hour late. The ruling party, which already has 101 seats out of a total of 151 in the outgoing assembly, has fielded 127 candidates. It is only rivaled by the Pan-African Union for Social Democracy, the country's main opposition bloc, which has fielded 45 candidates for the legislative polls. One party has boycotted the vote, calling for the release of political prisoners instead. In the Ivorian capital, 1 person in 5 lives in flood-prone areas. It's not just climate change to blame. In Abidjan, people build in risky areas such as wetlands. Drainage pipes are blocked and channels are used as dumping grounds, leaving even the slightest of downpours to turn into flash floods.
C'est la ville qui est une ville béton.
It is the city which is a concrete city. It is built with bitumen,
L'eau n'a plus sa place dans la ville.
so water no longer has its place in the city. All the water that was supposed to go through is reserved for the drainage, and all the water is found in the same places. It's a good quantity that must circulate. The rains in Abidjan have also become heavier in recent years, but road construction without proper drainage planning has also been blamed for flooding neighborhoods of the capital. Since they built that road, this area has been flooding. Other people are happy, but we are really not happy. It's like a water outlet was put here. In June, 19 people lost their lives and 5 were injured. More than 700 millimeters of rain have already fallen, and the coming days look less worrying according to forecasters. We predicted that we would have an amount of rain that would be greater than 640 millimeters. We have gone past that, and now we stand at over 740. Emergency services, meanwhile, remain on standby to respond to any distress calls. All our troops are on alert in the different barracks. In addition to the personnel who are on alert on ordinary days, we have teams of aquatic intervention. We also have teams of search in perilous environment, and we also have teams of rescue clearing accompanied by a dog team. The months of June and July are the wettest in the south of Ivory Coast with heavy rainfall. It is due to this factor that the Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled for 2023, has been moved to January and February 2024. 27-year-old Kevin Nkeoua wakes up early in the morning with a panga and an axe. He fells at least 2 grown acacia trees And before 2 days are over, he's made more than 15 sacks of charcoal from a single kiln. Since cooking gas prices began to go up, charcoal demand is on the increase. Because when gas prices were low, I used to sell only 1 sack of charcoal per month. But now charcoal has a lot of demand, and many customers are coming, forcing me to increase production to 100 bags. With gas prices up, more and more Kenyans are turning to charcoal to cook. Forced to choose between having to buy food and using cleaner fuel to cook, families are opting for the former. I used to have a 12-kilo gas cylinder, but I noticed its price was going high. So I went and bought this small one to see whether it could save me money. But suddenly, I have noticed it's also on the increase. So I've decided to opt for charcoal. The price of filling a 12-kilo cylinder has more than doubled from 2021, and dealers too have been affected. Many customers have decided instead of using gas, they are opting for charcoal. So I'm wondering, should I abandon the gas business? But turning to charcoal is coming with a great cost to the environment. Studies have identified charcoal production as one of the main drivers of deforestation.
So far, we are seeing a lot of habitat being destroyed, and we are worried that if this is not tamed and matters access and prices are not addressed, we might be experiencing one of the worst catastrophes in regards to destructions of our forests.
Economists are warning of further gas price increases throughout the year, which will hit consumers already dealing with rising food, electricity and transport costs.
A group of unknown men carrying AK-47 guns opened fire at a tavern in Soweto on Sunday morning. 15 people died and a total of 23 people were shot outside the township pub.
We got calls around 12 midnight that there's been a shooting here in Nomzamo. It's a place next to Orlando East. And we quickly activated all the law enforcement agencies. Luckily, because it's over a weekend and usually there are these operations we call Okai Malao. So it means police at any given point in time, they are available and they are working at a certain place. Around in Johannesburg, they're working in Eldorado Park. We had to remove those police to actually come and attend to the scene here.
The aunt of a survivor says her niece Zama was in the toilet when the shooting occurred.
Mama, I was informed by my daughter that there had been a shooting at this tavern. My niece Zama was at the tavern and she was fortunate that she was not shot.
Leader of the radical group Soweto Parliament, Nkeoua says these incidents are becoming a norm in South Africa.
Look, this is beyond how I feel. It's disgusting. It's horrible. You can't have 24 South Africans being shot at with high caliber rifles and we think it's okay. But you see, we've been conditioned to normalize South African suffering, South Africans dying. It's just another case.
Police are still searching for the mass shooters and the intent is not yet known. Wandiswa Ntengendo, Johannesburg, South Africa, Africa News.